Firstly, when you see the girl, you'll notice that when she's hiding under the bed, it's actually very dark. So we know that she's hiding. And when we see the kidnapper, we only see his footsteps. He speaks in a different language. There's all kinds of things which you can't really fully identify him. And I guess it's that kind of uncertainty, as I said, that kind of makes it a bit more scary from the audience's point of view, because that's the kind of thing that thrills us when we find something out.
Okay, so we had a look at how the video was edited, and what we realized was the clip started off with fast-paced shots, and then it went on to slower shots, and then it speeded up again. And we kind of realized they did this because there was a part in the clip where we kind of think that she's going to be safe, and that's actually the slow-paced shots. And I think they did this to keep the audience at the edge of their seats, because we know what's about to happen, but the slow-paced shots kind of drags it along, so the audience just wants to see what's about to happen next. And then it speeds up again, altogether it gives a really tension-filled clip, if I could say.
Okay, so the editing points. So Liam is only filmed at one angle, and the reason may be because the editor was trying to keep the viewers focused on his emotions and facial expressions when he speaks. Or when he speaks to the person that took his daughter, the camera zooms slowly into his face so we can get a more intense shot.
Also, which I think is interesting, is doesn't include a shot of a third kidnapper. Basically, you only see 2 feet walk in and 2 feet sets of feet walk in and out. And so when we see those 2 sets of feet walk out, we think, oh, she's safe. And I assume the editor have done this on purpose to make it more of a shocking moment. She does get taken out because we think she's alone in the room again.
Also, we only saw the feet of the kidnappers. Also, we think it was so that the audience will also be in the mystery. Will be thinking, who is this person? Because if the face was shown, the film wouldn't be as entertaining. It's almost as the audience is going on the journey with Liam Neeson, trying to find out who the person is.
And also the editor cuts away from the girl to Liam Neeson to build tension, as we can only hear what is happening from his perspective. So we can't actually feel what's happening to her, because we're just seeing him on the other side of the phone. So we can see his facial expressions, and we can see that he's genuinely worried for her.
And what really provides the shocking moment from a post-production standpoint is where the editor slows the cuts down, as it just naturally calms the viewer down, sort of get more of an idea of what's going on when the cuts are slower. And then there's 2 quick cuts at the end that really provide the shocking moment, which obviously shocks the viewer.
You might notice near the end that the purpose of the shots focused on Neeson have a slightly different purpose. Earlier on, they used to focus on his emotional reaction, and some of the last ones, after she gets kidnapped, have another purpose as well. We use that to kind of shift the focus away from what's going on in the hotel room, and we focus again on Neeson's reaction, and that's the kind of thing that kind of shrouds it in a bit of mystery by switching from one location to the other. We don't really fully understand what's going on, and that kind of makes us feel a bit uneasy, because we only know that something bad is happening. We don't fully understand it.
So for sound techniques, we notice that the volume of the footsteps increased throughout the scene, and this puts the viewer in the girl's position, and it also increases tension because we can hear them walking closer towards her.
About halfway through the piece, also a sound technique's used of percussion. It beats up a heartbeat, and that sort of once again puts us in the girl's position. It's almost as if it's her heartbeat, and if it's loud enough, so like we can hear it, it shows how hard her heart's beating. So it sort of raises the tension as it sort of, as we're in her position already, we sort of feel how she's feeling.
Yeah, the audio has a big jump at the end to add shock to the scene. We can hear the sounds of the strings near the middle, which is kind of used to build up tension. And at the end, we hear a sharp, loud sound of her screams.
And also, we can only hear what Liam Neeson can hear through his phone in some scenes, and this adds to the tension as it is partnered with a shot of him looking concentrated and concerned, which once again builds tension.
Yeah, I mean, like with Neeson listening through the phone, we see this from his point of view, and it might seem a little bit obvious, but a big part of what makes it thrilling is seeing it from the shoes, when you're in the shoes of one of the characters, and as far as the sound is concerned, we only hear sounds from their point of view. For example, footsteps may get louder as they get closer to a character.
So for camera work, we notice that when the character is hiding under the table, we see some shaky cuts to the shot of the kidnapper's feet. The shot's quite shaky as the director wants us as the audience to feel as if we're in her position.
Yeah, also about midway through the piece, there's a low shot of one of the kidnapper's feet pointing towards the bed. It's almost a POV shot, and it sort of makes us think like the kidnappers might know where Kim is, and the kidnappers at that point are talking in a foreign language, so we don't know if they're discussing, oh, she's under the bed or what's going on. So that's sort of like a semi-shocking moment, I guess. Like we think there might be a shock that's about to happen, but it ends up being nothing. But yeah, just raises the tension a little bit more.
They could have decided to shoot the camera straight and not kind of shaky, but they chose to make the camera shaky just so that we can feel the nerves of how nervous she is or how scared she is from her point of view when she sees the kidnapper's feet. So they chose to shake the camera instead of keeping it still, just so we can be in her
Yeah, so there are a few different shots of the girl, but probably the most important one is the jump, the frill, where she's taken away and she screams, and that's obviously a shock tactic used, but it's not just with the sound. You'll notice that it's taken from a slightly different angle. The previous ones are, of course, taken mostly in darkness. You can only see her face, the light coming from her phone, but in this one you can see the light kind of seeping in from the edges of the bed, and that's in kind of contrast to the other shots of her, which are mostly in darkness. And that shot only plays for a little while, so it's kind of shocking.
So for colour grading,
Yeah, we can. A lot of like I said before, a lot of the shots with the girl are in darkness, and when she's hiding, they put a lot of emphasis on those shadows, so you know that she's trying to hide. You can't really see much of her while the kidnapper's looking around, and that kind of gives a sort of a sense of false safety before she's discovered in the lighter shots.
So because the shots of the female character are so dark, we can't see if anyone is behind her, and this causes tension amongst the audience, because the audience might be expecting someone to just, jump out from behind her, or someone's there with her. So we don't know that because the shot's so dark.
Also, the shots of Liam Neeson are quite like orangey and warm, and the shots like in Paris of the kidnappers are quite cold. So sort of just, although we already know through dialogue and like acting who the characters are, we know Liam Neeson's to be trusted, and we know the kidnappers are nice people. Yes, I guess that's a nice way of saying
And
it.
also touching on that point, the shot becomes even more blue once she is kidnapped. This could be to show the audience that she is completely no longer safe. There's a big contrast between where he is and where she is, and it also kind of makes Liam Neeson look even more powerless and hopeless. Also, the last point. The room that Liam Neeson is in is dark with only a lamp on. We think this is because to highlight his face emotions and the darkness kind of showing that he's alone, he's completely powerless, there's nothing he can do. And also there's, touching on the camera work as well, there's a kind of, the camera's going into his face to make the shot more intense and more emotional, almost dragging the audience into his face, just to bring them more into to feel more emotional. But that's basically it.